Hello. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Sarah Braunstein, and I wrote The Sweet Relief of Missing Children. And I just want to thank the Center for Fiction for all this. I'm so honored to be part of this wonderful company. And yeah, this is a tremendous thrill. So I'm just going to read a brief excerpt from The Sweet Relief of Missing Children. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Wait. Before she submitted to sex, before she married, before she gave birth, before she raised a daughter, before that daughter ran away without so much as a note, Grace was a girl. Let her be a girl. Let her avoid her vegetables. Look at her sure, arrogant face. She clips her nails to the quick. She doesn't try to tame her cowlick. She doesn't care, not a bit, about boys. She never wants to touch a naked man. She never wants to get married or wear an apron or do the 1,000 things you're supposed to do in order to don the mantle of womanhood. Womanhood is, for all intents and purposes, a slog. Oven mitts, sweet potato casserole, a dresser top spread with potions, endless frenzied ministering to the man. But you have to hide the frenzy. Frenzy can't be seen in a woman, though of course it's there. Is girlhood any better? No, girlhood is waiting, is frenzied waiting, is needing permission, is the rude smacking of gum always in her ear. Grace wants to be neither girl nor woman. She wants to be an eye, an observer. She wants to notice and wander. She wants to take many trips on many boats to places where she can lie nude in the sunshine. Grace was 16 then. Good grief, where did she get her ideas? Nowhere, or everywhere. Vague, indestructible images. A woman in a yellow bathing suit lying on the deck of a boat in an advertisement for menthol cigarettes. The gentle sea, the flat, effortlessly pretty face of the reclining woman. Grace absorbed it all. Not the message about the cigarettes, smoke these for a glamorous seafaring life, which she understood was a fiction. The real message was, go far away. The message was, is there a man in sight? There is not. Maybe she'd be a biologist, maybe art school, maybe Paris, where she'd drink black coffee and sell her work on the street. She'd wander the catacombs. She'd scorn her old life, the whole town of Ringdale, all the faces that looked at her face, all the busy work and good manners and girls who made a list of the best boys at her school, the top 10. She would scorn especially those 10 vaunted boys. Hank Phelps was always number 1. Wait, she hasn't married him yet. Let her be 16 a little longer. Let her paint stag beetles and black-eyed Susans. Let her fantasize about Paris, the Galapagos, Jakarta, Berlin. See the books she reads? Amelia Earhart, Emily Dickinson, detective stories meant for prepubescent boys. She is so young. She is so wrong about herself. Give her the gift of false convictions just a little longer, a paragraph. At Ringdale High School at the end of the 1960s, Grace was considered an oddball and a lesbian. Did she care? No. Oddball, lesbian, snob, teacher's pet, strange dresser. She wore boys' trousers and old silk blouses her mother didn't want anymore. She thought of herself as immune to love. She'd never had a crush, not boy or girl or teacher or uncle, no one, not a flicker. What a gift, to be spared love and its frivolous, chatty reverberations, to be spared the note passing and bathroom crying and awkward dancing. Grace would not be ruined by love. She'd be asexual. Yes, the idea was so ennobling, so bracing. She mentioned it to her mother, who chuckled and said, "We'll see." Her mother was right, of course. Within a year, Grace would be married and pregnant. She'd marry the most popular boy at her school. They'd have a daughter, and the daughter would grow, and one day the daughter would skillfully raise her brow and look at Grace as if to say, "Why did the cosmos curse me with such a dull mother?" And Grace would want to throttle the girl. But Grace said, at 16, to her own mother, "I'll never, ever marry." Her mother smiled. I thought the same thing, she said. Did you know that? I wanted to be a... No, Grace cried, because her mother had wanted nothing else than this house and her father and Grace. That was how it had to remain. A few weeks later came the encounter that would mean the end, the undoing of Grace's plan. It was her senior year in high school, so close to the end, she'd nearly made it out. But walking home from school one day, she passed Hank Phelps and his best friend, Joe the Lug, sharing a cigarette on the stone wall that girded the cemetery. They were an odd pair, crow-haired Hank, the breezy, worshipped idol of the school, Joe, aloof, sheepish, in his eyes the dull, affable gleam of the middle-aged. Hank raised a hand, said, "Hey there, Gracie." He had a jocular sneer and the solid hunches of a cowboy. Everyone knew he did 200 sit-ups each night before bed. Joe the Lug just offered his abashed half-smile. A certain feeling rose into her body, began at her feet, traveled up her shins, into her thighs, into, "Don't call me Gracie," she snapped. She knew what it meant instantly. Thank you.